Stand up, right. Be upright. Stand up, right.
Large numbers of transgenders work as prostitutes all around New Zealand. For some, it's a choice, but for most, it's the only way they know how to survive.
Mama belongs to the real world, and she belongs to me.
It's lonely and dangerous work.
My man is after another girl.
Watch out, babe.
Yeah, he's my enemy.
You know, one time I saw this very same lady hitchhiking right out here, and there were these two island guys, you know, on the car. And she just jumped in the back of the car and they took off with her, man.
MAMA TERE works on the streets. She's a transgender community worker who is determined to help fellow transgender prostitutes find a way out. She knows this life. She lived it for 25 years.
Stand up, right. Be upright.
Her remarkable journey began 41 years ago in Otara.
My given name was Charlie. TAHI was my surname. Mum was the very strong Mormon, where Dad was Church of England. We were in a 3-bedroom, 2-story place, and it was me and my 4 other sisters, Mum and Dad, and we had 2 of Dad's brothers, and we had a granduncle. And so we all fitted into this 3-bedroom home. Mum and Dad in the lounge and whoever was the baby at the time. I was always envious of my sisters. The girls always got a lot more. You know, very different, colourful styles that they get, and I was kind of a bit jealous of them in some ways that they got all this. My older sister, Noari, she snapped me wearing her clothes and her shoes, even Mum's shoes. Mum had some really nice shoes. You know, they were really, these nice, I can always remember these high heel shoes of Mum. They were sort of half lace and leather, you know, real pointy, about that high heel. And I just liked them, I tried them on, you know, in secret, when no one's around. There were a lot of other things going on in our house as well. Dad was a heavy drinker, very violent and very aggressive towards me. I shared my bedroom with my granduncle, and he used to come home drunk and he used to get into me. And this went on for a long time, you know, like from the age of 4 till I was about 10. And quite regularly, whenever he used to come home drunk, he used to get into me. He used to interfere with me. I sort of knew it was wrong, but then again I was sort of confused. I sort of felt the experience that was happening to my body, that when he was doing it for so long, that I felt it was normal. Things were just happening to me that I was too frightened to tell anyone at home, because in our home it was like kids are to be seen and not heard, or an adult's always right and will get the bash, you know. So it was really hard for me to open up about what was going on. The day I decided to go, Mum sent me down the shop with $10 and I never came home. With that $10 I got a bus and I was gone.
Your mum gave him $10. He was 11 to go to the shop to get a bread and a milk And he never came back. And then, wow, oh no, because Mum was stressing out and Dad was really worried. And, oh, it's all right, we'll be back home tomorrow. And then Dad would go, better have that milk and that bread, boy. But no, he never came back.
Once I got into town, I just walked around, and it was getting quite late. And it was at that time people of the streets in the night were starting to come out. And I was sitting in a coffee bar, and I saw these ladies, very tall ladies with lots of makeup and big hairdos, walking into the coffee lounge. And they were very loud, very outspoken. And one of them had approached me and asked me a few questions. They soon worked out that, I was a runaway. And so she took me home, and then she dressed me up. I fell in love with what I saw. I didn't see an 11-year-old boy. I saw a young 18-year-old girl. And because she knew I had no money, she told me about the streets and how I could make money, and I agreed to go out and do it.
The first week had gone, and then it was coming to the second week, and I really missed him. And I was coming back from college, and I heard this familiar voice calling out to me, and I was with a girlfriend of mine, and I turned around and I looked up at these flats on Johnson's Road, and it was my brother and a friend of his. I didn't recognise them. And my girlfriend's going, who is that? I said, I don't know. And then this, and I had a good look, and it was my brother. He had makeup on and a flower in his hair and something bright that he was wearing. And my first reaction to him was, what are you doing now? Boy, you are gonna get it. Have you got Mum's $10? Shh, don't tell Mum I'm here. I'm gonna tell her.
The police regularly brought Charlie home. His mother, Noi, tried everything to understand her son's behaviour. She even sought advice from the family doctor.
You say that he's 50-50. And I said, what's that mean? He said, that means he can be a woman or he can be a man. But the thing is that that hopefully that will come out of it. But he didn't.
Charlie refused to stay home. In 1977, after several minor brushes with the law, he was finally made a ward of the state. Moana Herewini was appointed Charlie's social worker.
Power is nothing if the young person doesn't want to do what you want them to do, which was exactly the same as it was with him and his family at home. So you can have all the powers in the world for a child and young person, unless they're exercised with their cooperation, they're useless. And that's what we recognised quite early in the piece with MAMA TERE.
Moana asked me one time, how did I survive out there on the streets? I sort of didn't want to tell her about working the streets.
I have to say I think I was pretty naive in those days. We had a feeling that she might be doing that because to get things from a man, possibly she might have to do something in return. She definitely wasn't. I think I did ask her about it actually at one stage, and she sort of said that she didn't have to do anything for them.
When I first had my first trick, I was raped on my first trick. I think the guy knew that, here's some fresh young meat you know, and he knew he could get the better of me, which he did. Because you're a runaway, you know, you wouldn't go and report it to the police. You sort of thought by going back to your street mother, I'd get the support. But what I did get in terms of support was some drugs. So I actually used it to be brave the next time I went out there. It helped me cope.
From the age of 11, Charlie had been initiated into a dangerous life of drugs and prostitution. It didn't take long before he started to get into serious trouble.
My first time I was arrested by the police, I got strip searched and they found out that I wasn't a girl. They eventually found out my true age and my name and found out that I was a missing child. And I told them I didn't want to go home, and they took me off to Wesleydale boys' home in Mount Roskill. When I turned up, still in a dress, the boys and the staff saw me arriving and knew that there was this transsexual coming in.
Arriving at Wesleydale Boys' Home in a dress made Charlie an obvious target for bullying and intimidation. He would often run away, but each time he was brought back, there were serious consequences.
3 social workers grabbed, 3 of them held me down over a seat, while one of them had this teddy big leather strap and just whacked the shit out of me. And, to that point where I couldn't even scream. My body just went numb. It didn't last long, and I ran away again, back out on the streets, back into a dress, feeling free.
Charlie's transient life included sharing various houses and motels with up to 8 queens at a time. Each one would take turns to go out and make the rent.
A day would start about 6 o'clock in the evening. You're having breakfast at 6 o'clock at night, sorting out what you're going to wear that night, and you'd be out of the house by 10 o'clock and on the street. Out there all night till early hours of the morning.
Well, it wasn't getting any better. It wasn't getting any other income other than what I made on the streets. I got into a bit of selling dope but then, you sell the dope, you take the dope, you lose the money, you lose your drugs, it was just, Right along K Road, you're able to pick up tricks. And you've got a little side streets off K Road where, cars will pull up and you just walk in.
My clients were of all different nationalities, from all different backgrounds, married men, young single virgins. I sort of made it a rule never to go with a Māori or a Pacific Islander because they didn't want to pay. European were good payers. The Asians, they try and bargain, try and talk you down.
A couple of times I've been caught. A couple of undercover cops. And, I got picked up by this dude. And we were heading down Queen Street. And there's forget the name of the guy. Is it Merrill Drive? And I telling him to go straight ahead, but he wanted to go left. And then head straight up to the Central Police Station. I knew straight away that he was a cop, and I just grabbed the steering wheel, pulled the steering wheel hard and started to try to get out the door. And I jumped out the door and ran up, started heading back up Queen Street to Turner Street. And this real old tatty-looking Valiant pulled up, so I jumped in his car and said, "Take me up the road, I'm being raped, this guy's trying to rape me." You know, all the time I knew it was a cop. And so he said, "Yeah, get in, get in, get in." And then as he, you know, instead of going left, he was going right, and I just looked at, "Oh, you're not another bloody cop," and he just smiled at me, oh, snapped.
As a young adult, Charlie continued to come up against the law. Having spent 7 years as a female, Charlie was very accomplished at passing for a woman.
I got arrested. They thought I was a real woman. They told me they were transferring me up to Mountain Women's Prison. And I was going, oh my God, no, I'm going to get caught, you know. Oh, how? What am I going to do? The prison warden came out to get me and she took me through. I went through, bypassed the strip search straight into where they give you have a bath. And she took me in, got me a robe, had a bath, got back into the robe and just went straight through into where all the other inmates were without being detected. And I was going, wow, you know. So I spent a couple of weeks in Mountain Women's undetected.
Charlie spent the next 10 years in and out of men's prisons, always returning to the streets, where by now she used her street name, Mama Tere.
I think I was a lot wiser not to get caught and do stupid things. You know, you sort of grow up from that. And I think the prostituting wasn't as much. I was getting more into selling the drugs. So I started to wheel and deal in different things. I guess I was pimping, but it was more protection. It was more them getting consent to work in areas. One night I stood up on Gundry and just thought to myself, is this it? Is this it for me? And just got into a hell of a depression. And I just took a handful of pills and wanted to end it all. I mean, that's rock bottom. And I think I was too, I was very unstable. Then my family had to commit me.
In 1985, at the age of 22, Mama Tere was committed to King Seat Mental Hospital for drug addiction and depression.
About 6 or 7 staff turned up and just called me to follow them into this room. I was wondering why all the staff coming to just take me, just me. I didn't do anything wrong. And then they just put me in here and left me. You know, there was just a mattress on the floor and a sheet, and that was it. And they just closed the door. No apparent reason. They just left me in here. Yeah. I started screaming and yelling, and I didn't want to be locked up in here.
4 months later, she was released into the care of her family. Over the next 5 years, Mama tried to heal herself, the temptation to return to the streets always foremost in her mind. It took the birth of her nephew to change her life forever.
In 1990, my sister, Mata, she was having a baby. Well, for me at that time, you know, it was like a gift. It was like a gift, and I was just, oh, that was it for me. I just, straight away, just attached myself to that baby. Yeah.
Baby Tommy was one of Mama's younger sister's 8 children. Eager to help, Mama would often take Baby for periods of time.
And I kept going there, taking him, and then it just got to that stage where I didn't want to give him back, you know. But it also made me wanting to, you know, get a house. And I got my first house in New Zealand home in Otahu. Me and my baby. I couldn't wait to get in there with my baby and, you know, started getting furniture and doing our place up. You know, I just felt this was me. You know, this is what I've always yearned for. Yeah, this is what was missing in my life. Things were just starting to come right for me. And my baby, when he turned 2, well, something was wrong, and he kept getting sick. So they did a lumper punch on him and found out that he had leukemia. So for 1.5 years, when my baby was up in Starship Hospital, I was there with him. And while I was there with him, our house got burgled twice and everything was taken. So slowly my little world was falling to pieces, you know, and but my main focus was to be at the hospital with my baby. Just before he turned 4, baby had his bone marrow transplant. One of his brothers was compatible. The bone marrow didn't take, and there was nothing more the hospital could do.
Tommy's mother took him home. Mama was with him at the end.
I just wanted to get to my baby, and I walked inside the house, and he was still there. And my baby just put his hands up to me. And I just picked my baby up, grabbed hold of him, and within a minute, he'd gone. And I just felt he waited till I got there. I was angry for a little while. I was angry why this happened. And then I sort of felt baby was an old spirit that had come back to revisit. And whether he came back to give me that little bit of joy and hope. A lot of my friends that came to the funeral from the streets, a lot of the girls came. You know, all my mates, they all came. They even came down to Taupiri, and you know, a lot of them were saying, you know, it's time to come back, go back to the streets, to the same old thing that I was doing. I decided, no, I won't be going back to that life out on the streets, but doing something positive with the time that I have. And I guess that maternal feeling that I had within me, to put it to some good use. Māori culture helped me in the sense of tikanga, in terms to deal with tangi, to deal with my identity. I felt accepted as a Māori. A lot of the teachings in terms of tangata and how important the tangata is. It wasn't about your gender. So within myself, that made me a lot stronger.
Through kapahaka, Mama found an ally in Ngāti Rā, a fellow transgender. This union was to be the start of a social services organisation unlike any other.
Myself and Auntie Ra are the founders of Te Aronga Hou Inaianei. Te Aronga Hou, meaning the new direction, Inaianei meaning now. And for short we call ourselves TAHI.
Mama Tere, I was shit scared of her. I'm allowed to say that? Yeah. She was loud, and there was just something about her that raised quite a lot of awareness when you were in her presence. So, yeah, I was a little bit afraid of her at first. Initially, we met around Waiata. We've lived our lives heading back to the maraes and not really knowing where our place is once we arrive at the marae. Are we allowed to karanga? Who can tell us we can't stand in whai kōrero if we're standing there in a skirt? So the cultural component that we introduced into Te Aronga Hou is our own beliefs in how we uphold and maintain our tikanga and our family values.
One of the roles of TAHI is to find employment opportunities for transgenders. Mama is effective as an advocate because she knows all too well the obstacles they're up against.
A lot of it was about trying to get education and training and employment, and a lot of it was because of their sexuality and finding themselves in areas like the streets and working the streets. And that for me brought back a lot of memories, and I could understand and relate to what they were going through.
These days, Mama is a sought-after public speaker. She's been invited to speak to the students studying social work at Auckland University. It's an opportunity to educate those whose future work will involve transgenders.
You've got to be very mindful that people that come from that environment are very, very sensitive. So you may say to her, and address her as her, and just slightly just turn to your mate and go, he wants accommodation supplement. You know, just even that, talking to your other worker there, she picks up on that and she just goes off. So it's, you know, it's very, very mindful of people, and it's about respect.
What she's taught me about transsexual issues, I suppose, is the fact that they want to be treated as women. Like when I first met Mama Tere, hi bro, how's it going, sort of thing, and that was totally not the way that she sees herself. But like, I see a male. That's what I see, but when you get to know her and that, then you see the woman within her. So that's a learning curve for me, you know. So now I see the man, but I know she's a woman.
Oh, she's brainy now. She's very intelligent. To see Mama climb from strength to strength, year after year, plugging away with community groups and city council and councillors.
You have to sign every page, initial every page.
She's become very political, and I think that's choice.
Mama Tere and her small team of Māori wardens run an outreach service around South Auckland.
Okay, Mama.
3 or 4 nights a week they can be seen in the borrowed Plunket bus, keeping watch over the street kids, the homeless and sex workers.
It gets busy about after 3 o'clock in the morning.
Are you out here till then?
Yeah, well, depends on how many clients I get. If I get 2 or 3, then I just get home. And then straight to the supermarket the next day and buy some food. Fill up the cupboards.
I sort of have come to a point where I don't identify those that I work with prostitutes. I see them as survival sex workers. It's more either a desperate or an urgent need, or that they're being manipulated and used to get into this survival sex.
Let's have a good night.
Very true.
Who was that, Mama?
Ocean. We'll come back to the bus stop. I think they want some condoms. It's a good thing that I work with the Māori wardens, and we have also volunteers. Oh no, who's this? So we work hand in hand. A lot of the young children that we find on the streets, well, we're able to either take them home, or we put them onto the authorities.
This is an area, Manura, we have 9 casino bars, and some nights you can come here, there'll be 30 or 40 girls working this block.
All on the glue. There's the bag. One got a bag. Yeah, no one's even got a bag.
Young kids.
Mama Tere began the difficult task of securing financial support for Te Aronga Hou Inaianei. Inviting politicians out to see the situation firsthand proved effective.
Prior to me supporting the application from Te Aronga Hou, I actually did go around the streets with another Member of Parliament and have a look. I saw mainly our young people on the street being picked up by men.
Hi, my name's Abrula. I got schizophrenia. I had it since I was 17. I lost the plot and I don't know what happened to me.
This is what alcohol and drugs do to you. It abuses your mind.
No, it doesn't. It calms your mind down.
It makes you emotionally down. I'm a drinker.
It makes you love yourself. No, it doesn't.
It's distressing to think that our families are in such a situation that our children need to get out there and be having to sell themselves.
Morning!
A lot of them, they've got extra mouths to feed. A lot of mothers. A lot of them are young, sexually abused young people who have very low self-esteem, who are finding it really hard staying out there on the streets. They want to change in their life, and all of a sudden it's just hit them that they don't want to do it anymore.
If ever we had a chance, would you ever take us out on site or, you know...
To the beach?
To the beaches and things like that?
Yeah, girl.
You know, if, like, we all, like, us as working girls pitched in $5 each or something like that, would you take us to a beach or something like that?
For sure.
Hey, girl, sure.
We did it.
Yeah.
I got some money, and we came out to pick all the girls up, about 9 girls. Couldn't find you. Then we all went out to Howard, Beachlands.
Yeah.
Shall we do it again?
Yeah.
Will you be around?
Yes. Just give us a day.
Oh, okay, a warning and...
Yeah.
You're on.
Come on. Yeah. happy people. Yeah.
I was hoping that through being able to resource somebody who understood these young people, who was able to reach them in a way that people like myself and others couldn't, that it was really important that they were able to be cared for and nurtured.
Yeah, I like what you're wearing too.
Right across the road from the TAHI office is the infamous Hunter's Corner in South Auckland, where every night a number of transgender prostitutes work. Mama makes it her business to get to know them.
You should be a model.
Oh, that's what my university teacher said. Well, I always wanted to be an Nicole Smith, but sorry about the shorts, because I had to go for a summer look. But I'm really good at doing model shooting and stuff. I've been working out here for 3 years and a half.
So how old were you when you started?
I was 19. I'm getting there, but it is quite hot out here. It is quite cold, but he's just do it for all the money.
Well, thank you for that and sharing yourself, and I hope I see more of you.
Thank you, Mama.
You have a good night.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice night. And you guys take care. Bye.
Stand upright. Be upright.
In 2003, Mama took the surprising stance of opposing the Prostitution Law Reform Bill, seeking out the support of many politicians.
The bill would protect those working in brothels and those that run the brothels. But I only see them as a minority, whereas the numbers are on the streets. We managed to speak to, I think, about 9 different MPs and met up with John Carter. He said to me he'd love to come out on the streets and see for himself firsthand.
It was an absolute eye-opener for me. I've got to say, it just amazed me what I saw, what was going on. There was a mother and a daughter. The mother, I understand, was in the early 30s. The daughter was 15 or 16. There was a niece who was 17 or 18. There was a son from the mother who was about 14 or 15 from memory. And there was a little boy who was about 6, so it was a family unit. The mother and the 2 girls were turning tricks. The boy was there sort of supporting, and the young lad was there because he had nowhere else to go. And so, he would come out at, say, 10 o'clock at night or whatever time they started and watch what was going on. He'd see mum or the girls hopping in and out of the cars, and I understand from MAMA TERE that they were turning 5 or 4 or 6 tricks a night, and with no hygiene, incidentally. But when I got to talk with them, and we started talking a little bit about what was going on, what really got me was that I didn't matter, that society didn't matter, that what I was thinking and the fact that I wanted to be informed about prostitution, about the law and what Parliament was going to be doing, from their perspective I could see that so what? They didn't know where Parliament was. We were irrelevant. We weren't in their society. They weren't in ours. They lived a totally different life. All the things that I stand for, all the bits of society that I represent, are just absolutely irrelevant to them. They live a totally different world and we're not connected. And that just blew me away.
I just looked at John and I said, well, this is the reality of it. And how does a bill stop or prevent this kind of thing happening within families.
The whole thing just amazed me, quite honestly, that happens in our society. And here we are in Parliament thinking we're going to fix it. We don't even know what the hell we're fixing, quite honestly.
I was very moved and touched because I was in Parliament the night of the final reading, and he actually spoke about what he saw when he came out on the street with me. So I felt that was taking something back, and it wasn't a waste of time. Although we didn't achieve what we set out to do, but the fact that the story was told in Parliament was, for me, I felt it wasn't a waste of time, him coming.
In June 2003, the bill was passed by just one vote. Mama returned to the streets of South Auckland, back to her work, offering practical help to transgenders who wanted to leave prostitution.
Kiwa was a referral from the Department of SITS, and I just sat her down and asked her what she wanted. And she wanted to do hairdressing and makeup and artistry and that. So it was my job to go out and find it for her.
I met MAMA TERE through my social worker, like properly, and she was supportive because she wants to change trannies' lives, and she has basically done that with me because she got me all the ins and outs of the course and everything, and just told me, you know, just to not let anyone get at me and be yourself.
The satisfaction for me is when somebody's completed a course that we've taken from the streets and we've got them on the road to a better life.
The support network that TAHI provides for the transgender community means people like Ana Pihopa can seek their advice at any time.
I was worried about my gender. I was worried whether I would be accepted here or not. They just took me in as a person needing a job and treated me like how they treat everybody else. So my gender here was not an issue.
Well, she hasn't created any issues, so we haven't had any issues. No. The only thing she's created is a bit of hilarity every now and then, which we've all appreciated.
They're an awesome company that I work for.
Anna's full-time employment is an indication of the growing acceptance of transgenders in the workplace. 5 years ago, Mama's personal life changed.
I met my honey bunny, call him my honey bunny, at the flea market. And I went over to the store that was selling apples. $5 for this big bag of apples. Right. And I asked this guy if he'd carry the apples to the car. And he goes, yep. And so he carried me apples to the car and we got chatting away. And as I opened the boot, he goes and puts the apples in the car and he asked me if I was available. That's better, thank you. And I said no. And so it just went on from there. I'm not ashamed of who I am or ashamed of my body in front of him. He makes me feel, he accepts me for, you know, for all of me.
Looking up there is quite nice.
Mama Tere is a survivor. The confused young runaway is now a confident, high-profile, seasoned campaigner and community worker. It has become her life work to see no one else has to be caught up in prostitution without choice.
Stand up, right. Be upright. Stand upright.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.